Everybody, it's Chanel with Color Me Stylish, and I thank you so much for joining me this week. So I wanted to do a nice Valentine's Day look because I know I'm going to be going out with hubby, and I just love to go a little bit more over the top. But with all of the makeup tutorials that you see, it's mostly always red. So let's try something a little bit different. I'm going for pink this year, and so I'm going to be doing pink eyes, lips, cheeks, everything, just to kind of tie in, because who says Valentine's Day can't be pink too? So with this look, I'm going to be showing you guys just some of the different products. Some of them I picked up when I was on my trip in Houston, and then some others that I already have, and I'll of course link everything down below so you guys can try to find those same items as well, or at least, you know, the name, things like that, so you can kind of do some research if you like. But I thank you so much for joining me, and we'll go ahead and get started. So to start, I like using something that's really moisturizing, and as you can see, it's almost done. This is the Clinique Moisture Surge, but I like that it's really lightweight, and I just like to put it in the areas that are more dry. And since we've been living in Mexico City, my skin has been a lot more drier, I think because of the higher altitude, and of course my Aquaphor, it's like the biggest one possible because I had to bring it back to moisturize my lips. This is the Kate Von D. This is the moisturizing primer, again because my skin has been a lot more drier than usual. I've been going for a lot more products that moisturize as well as do other things, just because I've been getting dry patches and things like that lately. So I wanted to kind of make sure that I started with a nice plump and more even base. I picked this up from Target when I was in Houston. I wish it had more of a dropper. It's more of a squeeze tube at the top, but I love the formula. Again, it's a lot more moisturizing, but it's lightweight just to kind of cover up, you know, light areas, and it just matches so well to my skin. And of course, I'll link all of the products down below. And this is my favorite buffer. It's from Morphe, sorry, and I just like to kind of pat this into the skin, and of course I sped it up a little bit so it looks like I'm a lot more rougher on my skin than I really am, but this is just one of my favorite brushes just to kind of really get the product all over, and of course bringing that down, you know, past the jawbone just so that it blends in really well all over the face. And next, I actually picked this up from just a random store here in Mexico City, but I just love how wide it is. And I have to say the formula is just like Shape Tape from Tarte, and I was really surprised that it was probably, oh, I don't know, like $8 or $10. So the price was really good. I loved the formula, but for when I'm just kind of trying to highlight, I like to kind of put it under my eyes, on top of my lids, and of course, you know, just on top of, you know, my forehead, things like that. And I'm going in with just my beauty sponge, and I picked this up, I think, from Sally's. And I like to actually use cold water just to kind of get it really saturated, and then dump, you know, just kind of squeeze out the excess, just because it feels really good on the skin, especially, you know, just to kind of bring down any puffiness on the face. And it feels really cool just to kind of put that on. And, you know, I did spread, you know, the concealer out just a little bit more because I definitely wanted to highlight those areas. And then going in with more of a highlighter. This is from Il Makiage, and I just kind of wanted to brighten up the under eye, just, you know, to make everything stand out a little bit more. I don't know, I think I had a little bit less sleep this week just with everything going on, so I definitely needed to brighten up my face. And just kind of squeezing the tip, I like to kind of just make it a little bit more firm just so I can really get into those areas and pat it in really well. So going in just for baking purposes, this has been my favorite setting powder, for the moment. It is Fenti by Rihanna. It's so nice. I love the lightweight, but just even like the color, it really brightens up. One of my favorites that I've been using in the past is the Laura Mercier translucent powder, but I just find that this color just works a little bit better. It's in hazelnut. Again, I'll link everything down below, but for me, because those are my spots, are the areas that I get the most oily, I like to kind of put a little bit more excess underneath the eyes just to set the concealer, but also on my forehead and to set my brows. And for my brows, I picked this one up. This is an eyebrow palette from H&M. So definitely check out their beauty aisle. They have some different things the next time you're there. And then these two other colors, it's a highlighter, and if you have, lighter brows for a brunette, but just kind of using that white pomade, dipping it in the powder, the brush into that. I like to kind of just mix those together, but it gives a really nice finish. I don't have to use a whole lot of product. One dip goes a long way, especially with the pomade wax that it comes with, and just kind of doing the outline and filling in my brows. I like my brows to be a little bit more fuller. I wish they were naturally, but at least I can fake it until one day that happens. But it's super quick and super easy. And then using these spoolies I picked up from Sally's Beauty, I like to kind of just go back in and fluff them out just to make sure that I don't have excess, product on the brows, and to make sure that the ends, are just really smooth, and grabbing a little bit more just to kind of set them into place so they can just have that more firmer hold. I just love this product. This is like one of my new favorites right now. So I just went ahead and did the other side, and again, just fluffing them out just to kind of make them really nice and full. And then of course using my Q-tip just to kind of clean up any of the areas. And yes, you can see that I pulled off a little bit of that concealer when doing that. So you just want to go back in and just kind of touch them up. And this is one of my techniques just to kind of set the brow for the day, that after I do that, just dabbing a little bit of powder on top just to kind of, set them, take away any excess shine or oil, and they just stay for the rest of the day. And this is my favorite powder. This is Maybelline Color Stay, and this is in the color Java. And I just like to take a whiter brush and just kind of set the rest of the face just to take away the shine and just make it a little bit more smoother finish, and kind of just blend in all of that, and then taking away any excess concealer that I may have had, in other places as well. But I definitely wanted to keep a little bit more under the eye just to continue to set that, and because I was going to be using, a colored eyeshadow, just to make sure that nothing fell down on the face. So I'm going to be using, this is the BH Cosmetics, and this is in their blush palette, but I figured, I'm going to be using a lot of pinks. So I'm going to be doing pomegranate and ember, and that's going to be what I'm going to be using for my eyes, for my cheeks, just for pretty much everything. And it definitely makes it easier when you have, not a whole lot of palettes that you're going to be using. But I loved how bright this color came out on my eyes. And just kind of adding that into the corners. And I like to kind of, take as much as I can and just kind of really pat it in to the skin to kind of get that color to set. And I'm the kind of person that I definitely go from one eye to the next. I've never done one eye and then the other. I just feel like when I do it in this process, it stays a little bit more uniform and they both look equally the same. So just going in with a little bit of a more fuller brush just to kind of fluff that out a little bit and just kind of blend that in a little bit just so that there's no stark lines in the corners, and then taking a more rounded brush just to kind of really blend that in just to make sure that everything will be seamless as I keep adding different colors. So going in with my Morphe, I know sometimes my palette gets a little bit messy, sorry about that, but I am going to be using these two colors from the palette, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a close-up. So one is Love Wins, and then towards the end I'm going to be using SF, but just kind of again going in and patting in that color because I don't want to just kind of start blending it right away before I take away what I was trying to achieve. So just kind of really getting that color in there, but I loved how pink it is. It's just so romantic. It's so girly, so Barbie. So I definitely wanted to go for more of that style for this look. And now going in with that darker pink, just to kind of really make that statement towards the end. It's so pretty, I really love this. And just kind of bringing it towards the end, just to have that contrast. That's one of my favorite looks, and I guess one of my signatures is every time I do an eyeshadow, I just love how, you know, it just kind of flows out towards the end with a darker color. It just reminds me of butterfly wings, and I think that's why I always gravitate towards doing my eyeshadow this way. And again, just going in with my bigger, fuller brush, just to kind of really blend that in. I don't want to go too hard to take that color away, but I don't want to have that stark line, just so that I can see all of the color. And I didn't want to do a harder eyeliner on this look, so using the same palette and a smaller brush, I took the black eyeshadow and just to create a fuller eyelash towards the bottom and a little bit more definition, I took that and just kind of placed it as close to the eyelash line as possible. So just to help with my eyelashes, just to adhere a little bit more and just to fill in any gaps, this is the Lashcraft Mascara from Sephora, and I love how chunky and full the brush is on this one. And one of my favorite things to do is to kind of let my new mascaras air out just a little bit, just so that it can be a little bit more of a thicker formula. And recently, because sometimes my lashes don't always stick the way that I want. And so recently I've been trying this, where I just take the eyelash glue directly and add it as close to the eyelash line as possible, and just to kind of get that a little bit more tacky before I add my lashes. And then I also add another layer directly to the lashes before I put them on, just so they help to stick on, because I wanted to use a bolder eyelash for this look. And to kind of bring down the color, I was so in love with this color, I took the same darker SF color, or eyeshadow, sorry, just to kind of add it towards the bottom of my lash line for a little bit more definition and color. And going in with the same brush, just kind of adding a little bit more highlighter to the corner, eye duct, just to kind of brighten that up a little bit and to draw a little bit more attention to the eye. And going in with one of my favorite Morphe brushes, just to take off the excess of the baking powder that I was using, and just whatever else I have extra on the brush, just kind of tapping it into the skin in other areas, just because I tend to get shiny and oily in the process, and I like everything to just kind of remain smooth. as I'm going, you know, with the whole application process. So just kind of tapping that in and making sure that everything is a little bit more uniform and there's no stark lines to anything else. And this is one of my favorite blushes. It's from MAC. It's called Siren. And it's just dark enough that I can do a light contour to the face, but nothing too drastic. So just kind of adding that in, and I really love this brush because it just kind of gets into all the corners that I want. And yes, right now you kind of see a little bit of a darker line, but I will definitely go back in just to kind of smooth and blend that out. And then just taking a little bit more to contour the nose. Yes, if whatever face you need to make, just to kind of bring in those cheekbones so you know where to start, always helps. And then using the tip, I like to start right at the corner of my eyes just to kind of define the bridge nose a little bit. And using that same blush, again, I didn't want to use a darker contour to kind of take away from the whole look. And just blending that out, I just really wanted to have that be really smooth but really defined so that you can really start to see, you know, a definition on the nose bridge, which makes that light kind of just go right down and just kind of snatches the nose a little bit. And then just taking the same Morphe brush just to kind of blend that in so there's not, you know, a darker or heavier line, and then doing the same to the nose as well to make everything stand out but still look really seamless. So staying with the same colors, I'm going back in with the pomegranate, and yes, it's a lot more pinky, but it was so cute. And just kind of staying at the balls of my cheeks and then kind of bringing that color a little bit more upwards to lift the face. But I just loved how cute that looked, and just using a circular motion just to kind of blend that all in. But I definitely wanted to have more of a red cheek just to kind of tie in the whole look, and this color was perfect for that. And going back in with the same palette and the same brush, adding a highlighter and using the color Ember, but again, just kind of drawing that highlighter upwards just to kind of lift the face, and then taking some of that excess and just kind of drawing it up on the face, a little bit on the forehead, and then doing the other side. It's so pretty. I really loved that color combination, and then just using a little bit excess to do, of course, a little bit on the forehead, on the chin, and of course highlighting that bridge just to really add that look and define it. And then of course on your Cupid's bow, and on the cheek as well. And just making sure that I'm bringing both of those colors together. I just wanted to make sure that I went back in just to, you know, blend those together so there wasn't like a line of blush and a line of highlighter. You definitely want to have those two go together. And then just to kind of set the whole look, this is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, or you can use whatever setting spray that you do like, but that's a really nice one that I like to use, and just kind of setting that. And of course, if you do notice that you have any of those droplets, you can just use a brush to tap it in, or your sponge just to kind of get any of those wet spots blended in so they don't just leave any marks on your makeup. And then this is the L'Oreal Infallible, and one of the new lip glosses I picked up surprisingly from Ross the last time I was in Houston, but I wanted to definitely bring both of those colors together. So I don't usually line my lips. I feel like they're defined enough. Sometimes I do, but for this look, I just wanted to use the lip gloss just to kind of fill in the space. And then to blend the two colors together, I used the lighter lip gloss just to kind of marry those two colors together and create that unique color I was going for. So I thank you guys so much for watching. This was a fun one, and when you're thinking about Valentine's, it doesn't always have to be red. It can be a fun blush pink as well. I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.